And this one's going to get underway pretty soon. Here we go. We are starting out. Ooh, this could be bad for Yoshi. So Joseph starts with a Sableye against Yoshi's Oddish. So please, if you guys are watching, spread the word on Twitter and Facebook. Tell your friends that we are streaming this Battle Road live from Kenosha. We got some cool games going on here and some commentary. Of course, I am Puka. You can follow me at Puka311 on Twitter. Tweet at me. Tell me what you think about the event so far. This is a scary moment for Yoshi. He does only have this Oddish. If Joseph can manage to do 40 damage on the first turn, Yoshi's going to lose this game. Assuming Joseph goes first. I'm not sure who goes first. It looks like he is, though. So it looks like we're just waiting to get the round started. I'm not sure what the holdup is here. We're gonna wait here as they figure out what's going on. So Joseph, he is a local player. I believe he's from the Milwaukee area, somewhere around there. He hasn't played too much competitively. He started just a couple years ago, I do believe. He's a solid player. Looks like he's doing well here today. And we'll see if he can beat Yoshi here today, who is a very good player. He does consistently well at pretty much every event he goes to. And hopefully he'll be able to survive this turn so that we can see a cool game here. And it looks like Joseph goes a little too fast on his random receiver. Keeps revealing until he shows a Professor Oak's new theory, and then he even shows an Ultra Ball for fun for Yoshi as well. Yoshi would love to get a win here. He really needs to finish in the top 2 at this Battle Road so he can get a couple more championship points. As something very loudly crashes to the floor. You won't see Oak's new theory. Oh, he's just taking that back though. Eviolite goes on the Sableye. That's going to prevent anything like a Dark Claw on the first turn. And he puts a normal Dark on the Sableye, so I think Yoshi's going to survive this turn. It would take 3+ powers to get a knockout here at this point from Joseph. Oddish does have 48 points. Sableye only does 10. He's already attached the Eviolite, so he cannot attach the Dark Claw if he does play any. Yoshi is not playing a Vanillix deck. He is playing a Vileplume Darkrai Mew Prime, some sort of deck. It might be Excelgor. I don't really know. Hopefully this will be a long enough game where we find out what exactly is in his deck. Now we see another Sableye come down. Now, the bad part about Sableye in this matchup is that he gets back trainers, which you don't want against Vileplume. So he's actually just going to Confuse Ray for 10. And he will confuse this Oddish. You'll see a nice spiffy promo Pokemon communication, shuffling in a Vileplume. Like I said, Yoshi always plays some sort of unusual deck. The most standard thing I've ever seen him play was a CMT, but even that played super scoop-ups to rack in energy search, energy retrieval, and all sorts of stuff. So he's gonna communication for Darkrai right off the bat. Of course, this will give Oddish free retreat if he does decide to attach to it. We're gonna see a Sage's Training for 5. Of course, he gets to pick 2. He has to discard 3 of those. He's going to discard another Darkrai. He's still got 2 more cards to discard. Another interesting thing to note about Yoshi is that he is one of those players that foils out his deck completely. Every card in his deck will be reverse holo or full art. If you don't see one, then I'm going to be shocked. Every time I've seen him play a deck, he has everything reverse holo. Absolutely everything as foiled out as it can be. And there we see a Mew Prime as well going to the discard pile. So Sage's Training, of course, is good for digging for cards. You look through 5 of them. You pick 2, discard 3, but you have to discard 3, which means you can discard some very important things a lot of the time. Looks like he's just going to sacrifice his Oddish. And yeah, he's going to pass. So it looks like not a very good start for Yoshi. He did discard a Collector from his Sage's Training, so that means he might have another one in his hand. I would hope so, because he really does need to get a Collector to get more basics out here to have a shot at this game. You do see a random receiver again from Joseph, though. It's going to get him an N. This will allow him to disrupt Yoshi if he wants to play that. N is pretty good after your opponent uses Sage, because basically you just made them discard 3 cards, and then you're going to shuffle those 2 cards that they got back into their deck, unless they play them immediately. So how will Joseph play the rest of this turn out? He is very smartly playing out as many trainers as possible. He realizes that, okay, Vileplume will shut off my trainers, so I need to get rid of these while I can. Maybe overdoing it, though. He's discarding potentially useful cards later on. That's Special Dark and that N. Those are cards he's probably going to want later. So I'm not sure why he's doing that right now, but he does get a Juniper off of the other random receiver. And a Crushing Hammer. Ooh. So it looks like he's playing the Hammer Time version of this deck, with Crushing Hammer and Lost Remover, with a bunch of Sableyes. He's probably gonna have a tough time. This is not a good deck against Vileplume. Most of your decks just trainers. And there we see the first Darkrai coming down. This will give his Sableye free retreat. He could retreat and Portrait here. I would have liked to see him try to get a knockout on this Oddish more aggressively, and he's gonna put down an Eevee as well. Oh my. Looks like the Vanillux has really scared people at this point. I'm not sure if that's for Umbreon or Espeon, but usually when you see an Eevee, that's just for Espeon. And as I suspected, Yoshi does have a Collector. Really would have liked to see Joseph play the N instead of the Juniper last turn. That way he would shuffle the Collector back into Yoshi's deck. Whenever you see somebody Sage away a Collector, and they don't have many basics out, you can pretty much assume that they've taken a Collector with the Sage as well. So, questionable choice, playing the Juniper instead of the N. Also junk arming away a Special Dark. This will give Yoshi a chance to set up. And it looks like he grabs a Relicanth, an Oddish, and a Shaman. Can't really see what those cards are. Maybe he'll spread them out. I know for sure the one is a Relicanth. So this is a Mew Prime deck, which he'll use Prehistoric Wisdom to go ahead and put a Pokemon into the Lost Zone. There is the Relicanth. Like I said, everything is reverse foil. It's going to make things much tougher for me to figure out what they are. He's going to put the Dark onto Oddish and retreat. I'm not sure if he wants to waste a Shaman just to Prehistoric Wisdom here. That would be a strange move, but it looks like he does decide to do that. If he had a rare candy and a Vileplume here, that would be monumental. But it looks like he just has another Oddish. And we'll see what he decides to put in the Lost Zone with Relicanth. And it looks like a Tornadus EX. Probably not a Pokemon he wanted to put in there, but he probably figures, alright, I'm probably not going to need this. I can put a Pokemon in there for Mew to copy later. Might as well do it. So he's going to put that in the Lost Zone, he'll draw 3 cards, and that will be available for Mew Prime to use later. Now on Joseph's turn, he will be able to play Trainer still, so he does play that Ultra Ball. He's probably got to assume that Yoshi's going to be able to get something out next turn. By something, I mean a Vileplume to shut off his trainers. So he's probably going to want to play out trainers while he can. Interesting to note the way Joseph shuffles. When he riffle shuffles, he actually aims the deck towards himself. I don't believe that's actually a legal shuffle, but I'm just nitpicking. We do have a Dark Patch. We do have a phone ringing. I am in a very bad location right now. So it looks like Joseph, he's going to have a Shaman here for Celebration Wind. Move the Special Dark onto Darkrai, and he's going to be able to get a double knockout this turn, and he's going to play an N as well. This is a perfect turn for Joseph. This is exactly what he could have wanted. He's going to be able to N, make Yoshi shuffle his hand back into his deck. After he used Prehistoric Wisdom to draw 3 new cards. That's going to disrupt him. Then he'll be able to use Night Spear, knock out the active Relicanth, and also knock out the bench Oddish with 30. Now, in a perfect world, he would draw Catcher here, and he could Catcher the Oddish with no damage, and then knock out both of them with Night Spear, preventing Vileplume from ever coming into play. We'll see if he has that, though. There's a Crushing Hammer. Did he draw the Catcher? That's going to be a big deal here. There's an Eviolite. There's the Espeon. No Vanillux here. Oh, man. That cracks me up. And it looks like no Catcher, so not as good of a turn as it could have been, but still a very strong turn. He's going to get 2 knockouts. He's going to be able to knock out the Relicanth and an Oddish. And Yoshi's really going to need something here. He is really fallen behind. He's down 2 prizes, first of all. He has no energy in play. That Crushing Hammer got rid of it. So he's not going to be able to attack for quite a few turns. Joseph's going to be pounding on his door with his Darkrai. I just don't like Yoshi's position at this point. The only thing he has going for him is that Joseph has no other attackers in play. Now this means he has this Darkrai all powered up, but what does he have beyond this if this Darkrai ever gets knocked out? He has nothing he can power up. He has no other Darkrai on his bench. He has Smeargle. That doesn't attack. I mean, you can Tail Wrap. That's going to do 20 damage. There's 2 Sableyes. Those don't really attack. The Espeon doesn't really attack. And the Shaman doesn't attack either. He didn't leave himself any bench space to power up a second attacker. So this is unfortunate for Joseph. We'll see if this one Darkrai can carry him the distance. So we do see Yoshi playing a communication for Vileplume there. And he's going to play Twins as well, so that N probably benefited him a little bit. It's going to give him a rare candy for sure. He will start his Trainer Lock, which is going to be really crippling for Joseph, but you know, Yoshi's start is so slow. He has no energy in play that really we could just see him get his Vileplume knocked out by Night Spear. by the 30 damage, if Joseph can manage to do it 4 times before Yoshi does anything, he could actually knock out this Vileplume. And that could be troublesome for Yoshi. You know, that Crushing Hammer really set him back. He doesn't have really any way to accelerate any sort of energy. I assume he wouldn't play Dark Patch in a deck with Vileplume. It's pretty counterintuitive. And yes, we do see the rare candy and the Vileplume. So no Dark Patches will be played this game. He's going to need to manually attach. He does get a Litwick down, so it looks like he plays Chandelure as well. Now, I don't know how effective Chandelure is against Darkrai. Last time I checked, not very effective. He's going to put a Rainbow onto that Litwick. And yeah, he's just going to pass. So Joseph, he's in a perfect spot as long as his Darkrai can go the distance. If he has a Seeker in his deck, I don't think he does, but if he did, that would be one way for him to clear out a bench spot for another attacker. But the way it is now, everything's riding on this one Darkrai. So I do believe Yoshi plays Excelgor in his deck as well, which, go figure, Espeon actually shuts that off. So no paralysis or poison will be coming this game. And it looks like Joseph also almost has the perfect counter to Yoshi's crazy deck. He's saying, nope, Excelgor is not going to work. I have Espeon. Nope, Chandelure is not really going to work. I have Darkrai. And you're just so slow that I'm probably going to win. Now Yoshi could try something tricky here with Alluring Light from Lampent. That's really, really risky though, because all of Joseph's stuff would have instant free retreat cost if he just attaches an energy, and then Yoshi would lose that Lampent if he decided to do that. So I don't know what you do if you're Yoshi at this point.
Pokemon players, it's about 15 minutes left in the round. 15 minutes.
We do have the announcement that there are 15 minutes left in the round. Yoshi plays a twin, so he can search for any 2 cards in his deck, but what cards help you in this situation? I don't really know. This is round 3 from the Kenosha, Wisconsin Battle Road. Both these players are undefeated up to this point. And it looks like we do see a Lampent coming from the twins. Okay. Hopefully he does not use Luring Light. Although, what other option do you have at this point? Do you use Luring Light? Try to drag up something. And yeah, he's going to drag up the Espeon and hope that Joseph doesn't have a Dark Energy to retreat. If he does, that's going to be horrible for Yoshi. And there it is. There's the Dark Energy. He's going to get the free retreat. That's a wasted turn for Yoshi, but really what else could he do? And could we see this Darkrai just take all 6 prizes for Joseph? It's looking like what might happen here. So sometimes when you play these kooky creative decks like Yoshi has, this is what can happen. There's just too much going on, too much to set up, and you just kind of lose because it takes too long to set up and your elaborate combo never really comes into play. However, we do see N, which is the ultimate comeback card in Pokemon. This will force Joseph to shuffle in and draw a card for each prize that he has, so that means 2 prizes. So he's going to shuffle in and only draw 2 cards, while Yoshi will draw 6. If Yoshi can ever knock out this Darkrai that Joseph has, I think he can win. That's going to be a tall order, though. I don't see a way for him to do it anytime soon. He does get the Chandelure, though, and in true Yoshi fashion, it's the secret rare Chandelure. That actually is pretty funny. So he's going to be able to start using Cursed Shadow, put 30 damage on something, and he's going to put it on the Espeon. He's targeting that down, so that maybe he'll be able to use Excelgor later. I don't really think that's going to work out, though. I do not like Yoshi's position at this point. He's down 4 prizes. He can't even deal with this active Darkrai. He's got no energy acceleration. There's really nothing for him to do this game. What do you do if you're Yoshi? He's actually going to promote the Vileplume, interestingly enough. I was actually thinking he might do this. Yes, you are sacrificing your Vileplume, sacrificing your Trainer Lock, but you really don't want anything else to take a hit at this point. And here, I just don't know what he can do. He can play trainers again. He does have a collector. Maybe he has a shaman in his hand. And by hand, I mean deck. But he's already used a shaman. I don't know if he plays 2 or not. Yoshi's just going to take a look through his deck. And yeah, he's just going to extend his hand. He realizes this game is pretty futile. He's just down too many prizes. And Joseph, even though he messed up by putting too much junk on his bench, he just had 1 Darkrai going the distance. And the Espeon, believe it or not, paid off. It's 4 for Vanillux, but it works against Exceligor as well. And it looks like Joseph will take this game. He'll move on to 3-0, and Yoshi, our player that's trying to qualify for Worlds, unfortunately, will drop to 2-1. He's going to need to win his last round in order to make it to the top 4. So that will be a win for Joseph. Congratulations to him. He'll probably be featured in our last round as well, since he is one of the only undefeated players. So we'll be seeing him again soon. Joseph does win round 3. Alright. So that was round 3. We've had a string of fairly uneventful games so far. Of course, the first one was Mike Leski rolling over Chris Kobian. The second one was Abe getting a win when his opponent shuffled his hand into his deck after he played 2 supporters. And then Joseph's going to take the win over Yoshi there. So Joseph will be 3-0. I'll try to get some more results for you soon. I'm not sure if the round is still going or not. But once I get some standings, I will update. I'll update you with the standings, and we'll see who is winning. In the meantime, please follow me on Twitter at Puka311. Tweet at me if you want to get a shout out on the show. Ask me some questions. If you have any feedback, let me know as well. Also, thank you to Gnome Games, Pat from Gnome Games, for hosting this event, and Ken from Outpost Gaming for, well, this is his store, so thanks for that. So if you're in the Kenosha, Wisconsin area, Outpost Gaming is a great place to go. If you're in the Green Bay area, Gnome Games is the place for you. They have tournaments there all the time. They have League going on all the time. All sorts of games going on. It's a great place to go. And also check out the topcut.net, which is our site, and our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/TopCutPokemon, and Twitter at TopCutPokemon.